This is a follow-up to our in-ground teepee stove. My last post on this, I was heating up big tubs of snow and sitting them on top of the stove, and in the morning they would be boiling, pouring it on the ground to make the heat transfer from the fire so much better. But as my usual thing, I came up with a better idea. That seemed to be working considerably better, but instead of putting the snow on top of the stove, I just poured the snow on the floor. The floor is usually warm to the feet anyway, so now the snow melts into the ground and carries the heat with it. This is based on a presentation that I heard put on by the city of Medicine Hat, where a guy put in-floor heating in his garage under a slab, and the shop was cold, but it's melting snow out in the forest because heat goes to where it's cold. It has to try to balance out the world. So I'm dumping cold snow on the ground. It's melting and taking the heat from the stove without me having to carry heavy buckets of hot water. It leaks down into the soil and carries the excess heat with it. It radiates out at night. In the last 2 nights, we've had temperatures that were comfortable all night long without having to tend the fire for 12 hours. It's been minus 25 Celsius outside, and all the heat is stored deep in the ground. And I know from rammed earth walls it takes 12 hours for the heat to travel 12 inches through soil. So water is doing a really fine job of balancing out the heat. Our biggest problem here this winter is being too hot at night. I've had a lot of 50-degree centigrade nights in here, which is almost unbearable. You have to put a cover over you to stay cool. Really believe this idea would work really well in greenhouses too. Put that heat in the ground during the day and let it radiate out at night to keep the highs and lows balanced. Once that heat gets above the plants, it's gone forever. If I do another teepee in the ground with the stove in it, I'll put a couple of barrels of water a little ways away from the stove and at the same depth so the heat can transfer directly across to the other ones and store all that heat underground. Right now in the teepee, we're melting snow on the outside of the teepee, 16 inches all the way around, and we've had almost 2 feet of snow this winter. It's really about not how hot the fire is, but how much you can store. I've used this in the past with 2.5-gallon ice cream buckets stacked around a little stove in a small cabin to store the excess heat from the fire in the day, and had comfortable heat all night long just radiating from these water buckets. We haven't even opened up our outside combustion air pipe to get the fire warmer, and I'm working on a better intake on the center hole of the base of the stove that will suck air down a few inches and exit horizontally through a mini louvered system that gets the air spinning around. We'll have a top gate so I can shut off from my bed. Right now I'm using a metal pie plate bowl with a few knife holes in it. Anyway, stay warm and thank you for watching.